Let's find out how the Indian economy is doing. So, first metric we're going to look at is GDP nominal. So, this is nominal GDP. Sorry, nominal GDP. India is the fourth largest economy in the world now by nominal GDP, coming in at around 4.187 trillion, just marginally ahead of Japan at 4.186 trillion US dollars. So this is the fourth largest by nominal GDP. Then by GDP PPP or purchasing power parity, India is the third largest economy in the world by this metric, coming at around 14.17 trillion US dollars. The first one being China at $35 trillion, second one being US at $27 trillion. If you're wondering what GDP PPP is, it's basically counts for difference in the cost of living standards in different countries. So you live in India, you live in UK, the cost of living are different. People can buy different amount of things with the same income in the different countries. So to account for these differences and to give a more realistic picture of the economy's strength and what people can actually buy with their money, we have PPP. So India is the third largest economy in the world by GDP PPP. Next, GDP per capita. In 2025, this was around $2,800 or $2,880, somewhere in that range. And as we can see, it has been consistently and consistently rising. It's not the most, but it's rising, and that's a good thing. GDP by component. Now, this is the economy is still dominated by private consumption. That's consumption by you and me. Around 57% of the GDP is straight up private consumption. Then comes investment, which makes up 33% of the economy, followed by exports, followed by imports, and the last comes government expenditure, coming at around 10% of the economy. So in an economy, more than half, around 57%, 60% is dominated by private consumption and then investment. Moving on, GDP by sector. Let me just make myself smaller. 57% of the GDP comes, sorry, 54% of the GDP comes from services, followed by industry at 27%. Then the last comes agriculture at 17.66%. In the services, the biggest thing is financial, real estate, and professional services, accounting for 22% of the economy. So this was total GDP, GDP by PPP, how the Indian GDP is broken down by sector wise and component wise. So it's service dominated, and then it's dominated by private final expenditure. Moving on, then we have GDP growth rate. The Indian economy is one of the largest, sorry, one of the fastest economies in the world, one of the largest and one of the fastest growing economies in the world. As you can see, in 2023, 2024, the GDP grew at around 8.2%, and in 2025, it's looking to grow around 6.7, 6.5%, a very good growth rate. Moving on, exports. Exports have been consistently rising. In 2024, 2025, they reached around $824 billion. That's a good thing. They're going to go a little fast here. Next, ease of doing business. This is an index, but it was stopped around 2021. But before 2021, it seemed to have improved dramatically in the recent years from 130th spot in 2016 to the 63rd spot in 2019. Moving on, next metric we have foreign direct investment. I hope this is clear. FDI, foreign direct investment, is basically how much investment is being done in your country by foreigners. This is, of course, also rising, reaching a peak of $84 billion in 2022. 2023 took a slight dip, but in the fiscal year 2024 2025, this is expected to reach 81 billion, or sorry, already reached 81 billion. That is a very good thing. So we saw all these metrics and a summary. Everything seems to be going very well. So let's discuss how are the living standards? Are these rising metrics contributing to rising living standards for all Indians? First, we have HDI or Human Development Index. This has seen a constant and improving trend, and HDI includes several things. It includes life expectancy, it includes literacy rates, it includes one more thing which I forgot. But if HDI is rising, that's obviously a good thing. India's HDI score is also rising. It did take a hit during COVID, and right now it's somewhere around 0.644. And hopefully, this COVID blow, this COVID dent, India overcomes that. But overall, it's rising. So, by HDI, Indians seem to be living a better life. When comparing HDI with the rest of the world, India seems to be catching up, but again, took a dent during COVID, but still, overall speaking, catching up. Life expectancy, very, very important. We're seeing life expectancy, it was rising, but again, COVID gave a big blow to this statistic also. Hopefully, it will now pick up a pace. But for life expectancy, it's somewhere around 70, 70.5, 70.8. And overall speaking, it's on a rising trend. Next stat, infant mortality rate, continuous decrease, very good, from 39 per thousand live births in 2014 to 28. 5 years outdated, but the general gist seems to be this is also getting way better. Moving on. Now, these are some more stats, more metrics to look into. We have maternal mortality ratio, we have infant mortality rate, we have neonatal mortality rate, total fertility rate, sex ratio at birth, under 5 mortality rate. You can pause and read all of these metrics. It can help see how things are improving or what can I say, getting worse by these health standards. And of course, these are very important. But the overall story here also seems to be that India is improving on all these metrics. MMR dropped from 130 to 93. AMR, we already saw. NMR dropping. U5MR under 5 mortality rate also dropping significantly. Sex ratio has improved and total fertility rate has declined, which is a good thing, bad thing, eh, but it's stabilizing. Next, and this is a big metric. India's poverty rates are plummeting. Now, it's a bit controversial of how these rates are calculated, but we have what we have. By extreme poverty, which means living on $1.9 PPP, purchasing power parity, or less in a day. If you live on this or less, it's extreme poverty. It has declined from 12.2% of population in 2011-12 to now 2.2%. Then comes the big number, higher poverty. If you live on $3.2 a day or less, you are considered in this bracket. The percentage of Indian population living in this higher poverty category was 53%. for half of Indians in 2011-12. Now it's only 16.4%. So that's a big, big positive thing. Moving on, access to electricity, very important, very important. As we can see, more and more people now have access to electricity. This is the number of people without access to electricity. So at one point, it was over 400 million. Even at the 2000s, it was over 300 million. And now, look at that, it's less than 100 million. I believe it's less than 50 million. It looks more like equal to zero, but oh, that's a very good thing. Moving on, people not using an improved water source. So less the number, which means more people are using a safer drinking water source, or cleaning water source, better water, safe water, healthy water. We can see it's also declining, very straight decline, kind of two straight decline, but we trust the numbers. We trust the numbers, and it seems in this metric, India is doing pretty well. And the last but not least, very controversial, we have the Global Hunger Index. Uh, this was very controversial. When this was released, many people were mad at it. But even on this, India is improving. The Global Hunger Index includes many things like height stunting, malnutrition, etc. And the lower the score, the better. So 27.3, it's lower than before. So even on this, India is improving, but they still consider 27.3 to be a very serious, very serious number. It's still very serious. Hunger in India, they consider to be very serious. So overall, what do we see? India, of course, has a lot of work to do, but it's improving. The people are living better lives, and I guess improvement is what counts. And I hope we all improve, and I hope you have a nice day, have a nice life.